Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. Time for another live stream. It is the 100th live stream. I thought I'd have something a little bit more ceremonious for today. I was going to get pizza, have a little bit of a pizza party. Just ran out of time this morning, so didn't get that done. But it is 100 live streams. Most of you have been here for all of them. It's just absolutely amazing. So thank you guys all for coming to all these live streams and for making it such a fun place to hang out, even though there usually isn't any kind of like agenda or even a topic that I think of ahead of time. I just kind of sit down. I know my friends are here and we have a great time. So let's jump into it for today. I have the microphone on a different side today because I think I left it on. I think the battery's low, so I'm trying to charge it while I'm using it. So I have to put it on this side. So a little bit of a switch up. And it's been really balmy here in Iowa, and I almost said in Chicago, in Iowa, and so we have the windows open in the house, so we might get some road or wind noise in here today. If it gets distracting, say something in the comments, and I'll close the window. But for right now, I'm just gonna kind of let the breeze come in. All right, let's see who else is here. We got Raymond Galicia, my mom's here. Hi, Mom. Daniel Nguyen, JC, Jody Runs, Jonathan Fan, Blaine Masterson says happy 100. Thank you. Inez Dunbar is here as well. Good to see you again. Eric Sisk, Derek Dixon, Eric the Red, T. Davis, Carlos Sejas. Dave says audio were on his stream. Okay. I see. I mess with the levels as well. I'm sure I keep screwing it up. I keep thinking like I know the audio is low, but I can't get it any higher. And every time I try to, it makes a weird noise. Some noise in here. All right, I turned it back down to kind of where I normally put it. Hopefully that does it. Maybe it's because I've got it plugged in that it's doing that weird thing. But let me know if it still does it. I've just turned it down a little bit more than normal. So it might also just be another thing that's going on is I don't know, it shouldn't pick up the noise from the computer behind it. And normally the fan is always running on the computer on this laptop. So I don't know that'd be it. Hopefully that fixes it. Eric says still a weird hum, an electrical buzz. Well, let's try unplugging it. And maybe it's the charging that's making it give it that hum. So I'll put it back to where it normally goes. All right, so hopefully that does it. And I'll keep an eye on my levels here just so that way if it does go out, maybe at least I'll know I missed it. All right. Simon Evans is here. SP Perry. Derek Dixon says, yep. Terrence Wee says, still yumming. Okay, it's gone. Oh, the charger was it. All right, charger fixed it. Cool. All right, so hopefully we won't lose the audio, but we'll go with it for now. How's everybody doing today? I saw earlier that someone's getting some rain from that hurricane. It has the hurricane with one of the harder to pronounce names that I've seen in a while. Isaias. Like Isaiah's, but like Isaias. But yeah, I heard that my understanding is Puerto Rico got hit pretty hard. I know usually have some people coming in from Puerto Rico for the live streams. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Yeah, and then hopefully you guys in Florida are doing are going to be okay. I know it's going to hit some of you guys harder than others, but hopefully you guys will be all right. All right. Yeah, Link 130 boy says voltage outlet does weird stuff to the audio. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Eric Sis says it may make a run up the coast. Yeah, one of the forecasts I saw had it going all the way up, like just curling up the coast, hitting all the way up to New York, which, growing up, I do remember living through hurricanes. They were never horrible. There was only maybe 2 or 3 in my lifetime that I remember being memorable from my childhood. Because usually by the time it hits us, it's, kind of lost a lot of steam as it's hit the grounds along the way, like the coastline. So, yeah. But hopefully you guys will be all right. And hopefully, it's a weird time to be going under like hurricane kind of like warning and hurricane watch kind of measures. So hopefully everyone's fine. Yeah, Stevie76 says focusing issue with the new lens because of the focal length. No, this is actually the old lens, and if I do it, it's going to zoom in on my face. So what I normally do is I try to focus it. I leave it on manual focus because otherwise it might hunt around because it's so dark back here. And this is the fixed aperture pancake lens, and this is the old camera. I just kind of leave it up here now because I could have it use it as a streaming camera. So if there's a focus issue, it's because I'm manually focusing it. And sorry that you have to have like a zoom in on like my weird patchy facial hair for me to focus it. But sorry about that. Time Matt says 5G is causing COVID and then a hurricane. Oh Lord, LAWD. Yeah. All right. MC1796 says, quick question, Kofuzi. Nearing the end of Hal Higdon's 8-week advanced 5K program, what should one do after the taper week and time trial? Recover. Because once you've done that, the time trial being like when your race would be, right? So like once you're done with it, what do? You recover. If I'm understanding the question correctly, let me know if I'm not. After the taper week and time trial, yeah. I don't know if there's a time trial and then like another week before your like goal race, but if there is, I would imagine that the plan has that. I haven't done his 8-week 5K program before, but I'm gonna look at it. Because I'm leaning towards a 5K being my next kind of like, not goal race, but like objective, let's say. And I think that I'm actually going to try and train for a 5K, which means I'm either going to have to get like a measuring wheel and measure out so I could do 200s and 400s, or I might have to see if I can hop on the track. But here in Iowa, in theory anyway, they're going back to school in like 2 weeks. So then like school will be in session and stuff. And so like a weird dude with a bad mustache showing up at the track, is going to be kind of, or like driving up to the school parking lot in 2-inch shorts. It's going to be kind of weird when school's in session. So that'll be harder for me to do. So I'm going to have to probably find map out a spot to do shorter intervals. But I think that's what's going to be next. I haven't looked at how I looked at it briefly, but I was looking at it on my phone, and like, unless there's a Run with Hal app. I know that I don't have it downloaded, but looking at like the plans online, it's you have to put it sideways and then it gets hard to read. So I lost steam once I did that, but yeah. So I'll look at that one. I've been looking also at Jack Daniel's 5K program. His 5K training plan is legit 16 weeks. You're not assuming you skip phase 1. And phase 1 is like either several weeks of like base building or having come off of another race that you've run competitively. That's your phase 1. Yeah. So it's a really long program. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like condense it, but I'm like, who am I to like chop up a Jack Daniel's program? But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want to spend like 16 weeks preparing for a 5K. Now, granted, though, that 16-week 5K program that Jack Daniels put together, he does one for people that are running 60 to 70 miles per week. That's more intense and rigorous and probably even better marathon training than my marathon training plans. So I don't know. Well, I have to look at it a little bit more. I'm kind of, on the fence about it. Arnold Alanis says, I was born during a hurricane, and they almost named me after it. Which hurricane was it? I don't want to age you if you don't want to say that, because I don't know if like people would remember it. But like, that's interesting. Dixon says, digging the shirt today. Love the Triumph review too. Thanks. Yeah, for a while, I tried to wear a different shirt for the review and for the live stream, but then I was like, I don't have time for that. So I just, now it's just the same, whatever you see me in the morning video, it's because I've shot the talking part in the morning, edited it, published it, and then like a couple hours later, now it's live stream time. So that's kind of my day. Yeah, Patrick Funk says, great IG live stream yesterday. And Blaz Grabner says, wait, he's doing IG streams again. Have to watch it. I'm not doing streams again so much, but I was invited to be on the Roadrunner Sports Instagram live, and they wanted to do it yesterday. And it was at 3 o'clock. So instead of having the regular live stream, we did that yesterday. I did it just over there. So that was good to kind of catch up with Brandon. I hadn't talked to him. We've been emailing, but I hadn't talked to him since he came out to Chicago, which seems like a very, very long time ago. And I guess it kind of was. But yeah. But it was good to talk to him. Rob Piccolino says, just finished up July with 326 miles. Wow. Going for 336 or more for August. Wish me luck. That's crazy. But, remember, Rob, wait, does August 30 days have September, April, June? Oh, wait, August has 31 days too. So I was like, oh, August is a day shorter. So watch out. But 336, that's like, wow. That's a lot of miles. That is a lot of miles. Good luck. Very cool. Very cool, Rob. DW Running says, Courtney Dauwalter 500 miler. Is there a training program for that? Yeah, that's cool. Who is it? Michael Sessler was messaging me about it on Instagram. And Jamil Curry is going to be not pacing her, but running alongside her to document it for Salomon. So I think that's like super cool. And I was just saying, like, there's not a lot of people that could be a follow cam for Courtney Dauwalter. So like, I mean, like, there's like probably like 5 people in the world that could be up for that job, unless they were like just like driving really far ahead, chasing after her for like 3 or 4 miles, and then they have to run back to their car and then hopscotch again. But I mean, I guess even Jamil would have to do that too, but he could do it. I think if there's a third person that's going along too, but that person can maybe bring the car. Yeah. Daniel Hernandez says, hi Kofuzi, any recommendations for keeping cadence consistent other than a metronome app? I would say what other people use, I don't really run by cadence, although it's something that I'm thinking about. I'm really hesitant to do it, but I have been thinking about it though. I think ultimately I'm not gonna. But if you are interested in that, I would say go to, I think Spotify. There are people that have made like 180 beat per minute playlists. And you could do it for a variety of different BPMs as well. And so like, I don't know how much you would like all the music, but at least you would have like, you just run to the beat. And that's what I would do. Cyrus NL says, got the VaporCar 2 4-liter for stuff up to 20 miles and 3 hours. Wear my Salomon 12-liter for the longer stuff and races where I need to bring lots of mandatory gear. That's cool. I have the VaporCar 1. I like it a lot. But yeah, I would probably go a little bit longer. I think I could probably handle it for a little longer than 3 hours, but a 12-liter, that's a lot bigger. But yeah, for races where like you have to bring like a rain layer and lights and a map, and well, most of the vests have whistles, but stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Kevin Hagler says, race day tomorrow. Any tips on using a GoPro to film it? I would say if you haven't run with like a GoPro to film a race before, I would say go with as short or as small of like a stick as you can. I'm trying to think if it's around. No, it's not around me. But I have just a little alligator clip, and it's about like the size of like the height of my hand. So when I hold it, like I hold it out and in, it keeps my fingers out of the way. Because a lot of the times when people are holding their GoPro, just like the little thing in hand, because they're like, oh, if I just pull it in my hand, it's real small. But if you do that, you end up like doing this a lot of the time. And sometimes if you have real big hands, I don't have that problem. But if people have big hands, you end up with like a shot that looks like this because the finger gets in the way. And so unless you're going to be really careful about holding it like a certain way, but then sometimes this finger gets in the way. So I would say get a little stubby, like little mount that you can run with it in there. And then if it's smaller, then it also is going to be less disruptive to your stride. And yeah, I would say just pick one like camera shot to use the entire time. Unless it's a really long race, then you can kind of have more time and opportunity to switch out the views. But keep it at kind of the one like angle camera shot. If it's handheld, I like wide. If I have a stick, I like linear. I usually don't like super wide, and I usually don't like narrow. Those are too close, and the super wide's too far. So that's kind of what I would do. As high a frame rate as you can if you're going to slow it down in slow motion. But if you're going to do everything in real time, go with the resolution and frame rate that gives you the most, the hyper smooth, the stability in it. So hopefully those tips work out for you. And good luck on the race tomorrow. Yeah, and someone asked, what race is it? Interesting to see that. Yeah, I'd like to know that too. Raymond Galicia asks, before you started MAF, what was your pace and heart rate? Also wondering if I should invest in the Stride Foot Pod. When should someone consider it? That's a great question, Raymond. actually going to be the topic of the video tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be, I've done a heart rate versus stride video before, but I think what I'm going to do is kind of do a heart rate, power, and pace video to kind of see where all three of those things kind of line up, and talk about when I would use each one. So that's kind of coming tomorrow, a little bit more detailed of a discussion. But I think that stride is really important in two main considerations. One, if you're running in an urban area where GPS is really unreliable, get a foot pod. It doesn't have to be stride, but there's not a lot of players in the market anymore. Does Wahoo make one? I'm surprised Wahoo doesn't make one, if they don't, but they might. Get a foot pod because it gives you pace and distance information that's not GPS based. So if you're in an area that's hard for GPS signal to get you, that's a good reason to get it in and of itself. The other time that you would run with power versus heart rate is when your heart rate lags too slowly to be useful. So I was talking about thinking about a 5K training schedule, and for a lot of like 400 and especially like 200 meter intervals, or if you're doing strides, or if you're doing hills or anything really, really short, your heart rate isn't going to ramp up until like you're almost done with the interval. And so it's not useful as kind of a speed limiter or a speed minimum to help you in your training or to help guide your training. So that's when power is useful. The other time when power is useful is if you're doing intervals on a longer basis, even where heart rate would be good, and it's really hilly. It just will help you modify that. Your heart rate on a longer course will also be able to give you that information as well. But depending on how steep/short the hills are, if it's like jagged, then again, power, like the faster you need the data, the more important that power is, as long as you understand like where power corresponds to heart rate, corresponds to pace. Or you can use any one of those three, just you need to understand how to use them a little bit for what you're trying to do. So that's when you should consider it. That was a long-winded answer. But I'm kind of like been thinking about it all day because I'm getting ready to make that video. Ryan Tiramate says, did you hear about the Atreyu new model with P-backs midsole, sub $100? I wish they send you one for review. I hope that they do. I saw pictures of it. It's got a plate in there, it looks like. It also, I saw, I didn't see the Instagram stream. I didn't have a chance to catch it, but Ben Johnson took some screenshots of it. And like they had like the demo version opened up where you can Michael opened up the insole part to show you what like the plate inside looks like. And it looked like it was a shoe with like a secret compartment so you could put contraband in there or something. It looked kind of funny, at least the way the screenshot was, but it's really an interesting concept. The thing is, like on paper, it sounds great, but I'd love to be able to get it in hand, because not all P-backs is the same. And so that's something that I'd really want to be able to play with. Yeah, I do. And it looks so thick. So I'm just like, that's kind of what I want to see. It'd be interesting. MC1796 says, looking at the Jack Daniels plan, it's probably so long because it incorporates pretty long intervals. It takes a while to build it from 200, 400s, 800s, 1000s miles. By the end, you're doing 4x1 mile. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Jack Daniels plan, it's a long plan, but in week 3 of a 5K plan, one of the 3 workouts for the week is 10 miles at marathon pace. So I'm just like, it's not like, I mean, and that's like the more advanced plan, but it's no joke. Right. And so like, I don't think that I do I don't know that I do 10 miles of marathon pace in my marathon training plans. I mean, I'm sure I do at some point, but like, it's not something that comes up in week 3. So like, you got to be in real good shape, to do that. And I thought that it might be, I think it's so long because I'm guessing that the number of weeks, 18 or however long it is, corresponds almost exactly to the length of a collegiate cross-country season. That's what I think is going on in there. Because I think normally in his marathon training plans, he talks about like 4-week periodization or 4-week periodization. And so I think that really I could condense it down to 12 weeks if I were to do all 3 of the phases. But the third phase for him is mostly like the same workout every week, a couple of workouts every week, with time trials at the end. So it's like, again, tune-up races as if you're in the end stages of a cross country season. And so like I think I could trim it down even more, but if the optimal race doesn't come for 12 weeks, then, you know, maybe there's something there for 12 weeks. Yeah. Let's see. BubTub says, congratulations, Kofuzi. I looked up your 2016 half marathon video. Inspiring to see how far you've come along. That's cool. That's funny. I see there are people that will comment on like really old races from a long time ago. And it's always fun to kind of see what they say, because sometimes they don't realize that it's like a race from 2016. And I have to be like, hey, you should probably just check the date on that video, you know? And so it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I like looking back at those because, yeah, it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. That's like a nice thing about having like kind of your running life on YouTube. Blaine Masterson says, who's everyone got for the NBA championships this season? I don't think there's going to be an NBA championship this season. That's my thought on it. Let's see. Carlos Ceja says, what was your first video? It was a video showing what the rooftop looks like at my building, because I just wanted to figure out a way. I was inviting people over, and I just wanted to show a way to people to show like what the situation was up there, because it was the air and water show weekend. And I was trying to tell people, you can see a lot of the air and water show. You can see a lot of the air part, but you won't be able to see the water show. But you got a lake view, place to hang out. We'll be up there. Come on up if you want, but I don't want everyone. If you've got like a normal like spot that you go to on the lake, I don't want you to think that you're going to have as good a view of certain things from there. But on the plus side, we'll have like a grill and bathrooms and like a refrigerator available to us, you know. So that was the first video. It was just a means of like trying to communicate a simple video, and I couldn't figure out how to send it in email. That would have been somewhere around, I don't know. I forgot how old it is. It was really old. It was old, I think, since before we had the dog. So maybe it was around the same time as the dog, but the dog's 12. So somewhere along that time. But like really, I started making more videos around 2016. There's a handful of videos that exist somewhere like in the 2012, 2013 area, maybe 2014. But I set them all to private. It's like one of me like playing with the dog in the snow when he was a puppy, and other ones of like my daughter when she was a baby. And it was just like, again, I couldn't figure out how to share stuff with people. It was before I had Facebook. So yeah, I couldn't figure out how to share like family videos, like clips of us like walking to Target, things like that. All right. Mr. Random says, has anyone in the group ever run in the Sense Flow? I haven't run in that one. Blaine Masterson says, they're playing now, aren't they? Yeah, the basketball season started yesterday, I believe. Yeah, but we'll see how long that goes. I mean, I hope it goes and they have a successful season. I think it'll be great. Steve says, the whistle on the Solomon is so high-pitched only dogs can hear it. Is that true, or is that what you're saying like it's too high-pitched to be useful, or is it really a dog whistle? Because I could see it being a dog whistle, but that's only somewhat useful. But that's interesting. I've never actually... Oh, you know what? My daughter, my younger daughter, tests all my running pack whistles, because she knows that my running backpack and my run commute backpacks all have whistles. So I usually would carry her as we would get on the bus. Oh, I couldn't carry her now. She's grown so much in like the last several months. I mean, I could, but like I wouldn't want to. But I would carry her to get like on the bus just because she's little legs and she's slower than me and my older daughter. So we would just normally carry her. And one of the ways I would just keep her occupied would be like blow on the whistle. And so it's usually somewhere like up in the front. So she'd find it and she'd blow it. But like I'd have to remind her, like, not on the bus. No one wants to listen to a little baby blowing a whistle as loud as she can on a bus. But once we get off the bus, you can blow the whistle. So she has tested all of the whistles. Osprey makes good whistles, I will say. Yeah. Blaine Masterson says, "Come on, man, don't burst my bubble," quote unquote. I'm sorry. I'll leave it out there. MC1796 says, I've been sort of just winging it with running, coming from doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What's recovery look like for a 5K? I would say after your 5K race, if you're up for it, go for a little bit of a jog afterwards. It's good advice that I rarely take on my own. The next day, depending on how you're feeling, you could go for a little bit of a jog. I would do that to get moving. Or you could take a day off. And then I think for a 5K in a race, go by feel. And if you just don't feel like running, don't run. But if you feel like running, even if you're a little bit sore, just go out there for a nice, easy, 20, 30 minutes jog. Don't worry about how fast it is. Don't worry about how pretty it is or isn't or how far you go. Just get the feet moving. And so that's kind of what I would do. And depending on what you got next, you can either slowly, gradually build back up to kind of by feel, day by day, to your kind of normal default like running schedules. Or you can kind of take the rest of the week or the next week and kind of take it easy. I don't know that you need to take a full week. But I wouldn't race like the next week. I mean, I know people do that all the time, but I don't know. I would. If I would, it depends on how hard you went. If you're using it as a tune-up to prepare for something else, then yeah, of course you're going to do that and go race again. But, give yourself some time to recover. I would say listen to your body. Your body will tell you when you're ready to do workouts again. And the other thing is, if you think you're ready, you can always do a workout. And then if it doesn't work out, it's okay. You just back off, Swaggerino Blackerino says, what's your half PB? I think it's like 124, 123, like what really high 123, something like that, and somewhere in that range. B. Rutland says, speaking of the running history, when did you shift into shoe reviews? Somewhere around 2016. It was a gradual, and then like by the end of 2016, it was like all shoe stuff and like earbuds and just other stuff like all related to running. All right. Jody Run says the run experience has a good 5K plan. Okay. Mr. Random says, I have a pacemaker. So what do you think would be the best way into heart rate training? I would consult with your physician. I don't know how to give advice on that. And I wouldn't want to put you in a dangerous position. I'm just not sure. I'm not familiar. So, yeah, sorry, Mr. Random. I think though, like I think you're already running though. So if you're transitioning to heart rate training from the position of having a pacemaker, I think that it shouldn't be any different if you're already okay running generally. And so you're going to end up running at a lower heart rate than you've been most likely. And so it should be easier on your heart in that sense. But I also think that, like if you have a functioning pacemaker and your doctor hasn't have limitations on it, I don't think it's something that you can't push hard. But for the most part, with heart rate training, a lot of it is, you're running at very easy levels to build cardiovascular and aerobic strength. So I don't think that's necessarily something you'd have to worry about. But assuming you're already running. But if you're not, I would consult with your physician first. Goku Runner asks, what is a good neutral trail shoe you suggest? I have a virtual 50K next week, and my current trail shoes definitely need replacing. I'm not like the best person to ask for that. But in terms of my experience, depending on like what kind of 50K it is, I know you're out of Texas, right? So, out there, assuming that that's it, I think that you probably don't need like a super like rugged trail shoe and you're looking for something with lugs, but it still feels a bit speedy. If that's right, I would go with, I've been really liking the Ultra Superior 4.5. That's been a lot of fun for me. I also would look at the Terra Kiger or the Peg, see if you can get away with a Peg Trail 36, because it's pretty much like a regular like road running shoe, but a little bit beefier for, less, firm types of soil and dirt conditions. So that's something that I would look at for you, Goku. Yeah, those are some that I'll look at. I have a couple other trail shoes that not a lot that I'll be reviewing this year. I'm trying to stay away from them just because I'm not going to have a lot of opportunity to go on trails. I got one more that just came in yesterday. I'll do a video on that at some point. Right now is not a good time because I'm still in like this recovery phase. So every shoe kind of is, I'm trying to avoid doing too many new shoes right now because I know I did one today, but I'm trying to avoid too many new ones because right now when in a recovery phase, all the shoes kind of feel similar. Oh yeah, Cozy EPZ says Sense Flow is a casual shoe, but you can run in it for a moment. I think if I remember that shoe right now, I picked up the Sense Ride 3 and thinking that it'd be a suitable kind of like something that I think might be work for Goku Runner, which is something that could be more of what they consider hybrid shoes. A little bit of pavement, a little bit of trail, and the trail's not like super intense. But for me, the Sense Ride 3 is a straight up trail shoe. And so if you need something that's more rugged, because the footing's going to be looser or the terrain's going to be a little bit less hospitable, then that's something I'd bump up to. But when I reviewed that shoe for the area that I was running, even though I was running on a lot of dirt roads back there in Guttenberg, people were like, you should have looked at the Sense Flow. So I don't know, is the Sense Flow really a casual shoe? If I'm remembering it right, maybe I'm another one. There's a shoe that's like a step below the Sense Ride 3 that is like some trail capable. That might be another one to look at. Lewis M says, any recommendations on a lunchbox that can fit in a smaller backpack suited for running? Does it need to have hard sides? In that case, I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of experience with that. I mean, I remember there was a time when my wife and I would make a lot of lunches and like meal prep and stuff before we had kids. And we would bring like the Glad containers. They would make like squares and rectangles of a variety of sizes. For my daughter, we have little bento box ones that she brings with her. I don't like those because I feel like it's really limiting on the size of the little compartments that they have. But for a lunchbox, if you don't need it to be hard-sided, I would look for the ones that are either like neoprene or insulated that have soft sides, because then it will keep your food at a certain temperature if that's something you're looking for. Yeah, if you go down like the back-to-school aisle, if you're going to go shopping in store, but if you go to like a Walmart or a Target right now, go down the back-to-school aisle, you'll find a lot of those kind of like soft-sided insulated bags, which I think could work really well in a lunch bag, in a running backpack, assuming you're going to have something with hard sides as your containers if you got a sandwich to keep it from getting smushed. Henrik Christopher Kron says, why do you prefer the Polar Grit X over the Vantage V? The Grit X has a compass, which for someone that gets lost a lot is useful. And it has a hill splitter. So it can track for me as I'm running, like when the hills were, so I can look at the data afterwards and determine, that hill that I thought was kicking my butt had a 7% incline and it was 3/4 of a mile long. So I don't have to feel bad about feeling so winded or defeated by it. And other times where I could then go look back. I know you could look at your elevation data afterwards with the Vantage V, but with the Grit X, it gives you it like marks each of those sections, uphills and downhills and flats, as laps. So it's a nice way of like splitting up the data. So those two are the main things. It also has commute support where you can load a route ahead of time and then sync it to your watch. So that way you get like turn by turn directions, which again, for someone that gets lost a lot is useful. But I think that like if you have the Vantage V, unless you really want those features, I'm not sure that it's worth like upgrading to. The Vantage V is still a great watch. So that's if that's your question, or if that answers your question better. All right, we got a super chat in here from Jordan as well. What's going on? Let's see. Was there a chat? Was there a comment that went with it? Where'd it go? Oh, he's just in here saying hi. Awesome, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Jordan also had Jordan beat me to the punch today. He has his Triumph 18 video, which ours dropped on the same day. I think his still beat me by a couple hours, even just on the Triumph 18 video. But I've been waiting for a long time because I don't have the shift yet. But I've been waiting for a long time to do like a Saucony lineup video, and he did a really good job of kind of splitting them all up. And he did the Triumph, the Ride, and the Kinvara, which I think was a nice that's a very nice digestible triplet of shoes to look at for it. So that means I was thinking I was going to do 2 Saucony videos, one of the regular shoes and then one of the endorphins. But since Jordan's done already those 3, now I got to step it up. So I think I'm going to have to make one video of the entire thing. And that's going to be a lot harder. But I also got to get the shift too. So I'm having a hard time getting it. I haven't been like dying to get it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look a little bit more eagerly now. But everyone should go check out that, because I get a lot of questions about what's the difference between all these shoes. Go check out Jordan's video. He does a good job of explaining it. Ooh, Joaquin Lowe says, the Saucony Peregrine 10 is an awesome trail shoe. That is always, perennially, I think that is one of Saucony's better design or looking shoes. I just have never gotten around to buying it. I always kind of forget about it. I also think it's probably a little bit kind of like a Hoka Speed Goat. Like, it's more trail shoe than I need. And so I feel like the Peregrine's that way too. But it is a beautiful shoe. And it tends to get good ratings. I've never run in them myself. Yeah, Goku Runner says, thanks, Kofuzi. I'll look up what the cheapest are and buy those. I was looking at the Ultra Superiors, though. Yeah, I like the Ultra Superior a lot. Okay. MC1796 says, anyone else wear winterized trail shoes instead of boots in the winter? Highly prefer having regular shoes on my feet for walking around. I definitely can understand that. I'm a big fan of that idea. My winter shoes from last winter were a pair of Timberlands, which were kind of like not necessarily like the regular Tim silhouette. They were more like a Tim-inspired athletic shoe boot. So kind of along the same line. It was winterized, it was waterproof, thick rubber lugs on the outsole. And I did really enjoy running in that one. It had like a lot of EVA in the midsole. It was thick though. I wouldn't run on it, but it was great for kind of like tromping through the city, running errands, like through the snow and slush. Yeah. Hoka, in his Dunbar says, the Hoka Challenger ATR are good for lighter trails and when you can use them on road as well. Yes, I left that one in Chicago. I've got 50 miles on mine. That might be one that I don't end up finishing running in, or maybe I'll just run in it this winter, even though there might be a new one, because they're on the Challenger ATR 5. I think the 6 will probably be coming out. I don't know. I don't keep a close eye on trail shoes. I don't know if the 6 is already out or not. But I have the 5 Gore-Tex version, and for me, I didn't like them as much on roads, but I love them when it, like, the nastier it gets, the more I like that shoe. So I was running with them when I was up in Connecticut at my sister's house, and it was like a cold winter rain because it was a little bit warm, and everything got, like, all the frozen, like, earth got melted because of the rain, but the rain was still cold. It was January, and everything was just slushy and slippery, and I just loved those shoes. And I just felt bad because I was like, I'm ruining so much grass all over this little town, but I was just having so much fun. Sabanadzovic Kadir says, have you had any posterior shin splints? And if so, what did you do for rehab? I don't think I've ever had posterior shin splints before. Is that kind of like a fibular pain? Is that what you're talking? I'm having a hard time. Like, I always feel like the shin is the front of the tibia. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've not had that. Maybe someone else here has. Ty Matt says, what's a good shoe that feels like I took a 3-hour nap on the couch instead of running any distance, mileage, no price limit? Yeah, Bondi 6. The Bondi 7's coming out soon. That's probably the closest. I think a pair of UFO slides. UFO slides, that's what I would go for. Yeah. Timmy Pim says, do you think Eliud Kipchoge isn't a better marathoner than Kenenisa Bekele? I don't know. We would have found out last April, but I don't know. Do I think he isn't a better marathon runner? I don't think that he isn't a better marathon runner. He corrected himself. He said, do you think he is? I do think he's a better marathoner. Although Kenenisa Bekele had, like, I don't know. I feel like it was like a running sage, or like a running guru, like peaceful running versus angry running, like kind of put together, you know? So I was like, that was like the interesting part of it. Like, not that Bekele's an angry person. I just felt like he was running with a little bit more like passion, some more guttural, not gutter like mine's in the gutter, but gutter, like more like, you know, like passionate, I guess. It was like the feeling I got. And then like Elliot's like a running. It's like if like Yoda were a marathoner, right? And so it's like light side, dark side. It would have been an interesting battle, I think. All right, Tough Duck 414 says with a super chat. Thank you so much. Says happy Friday and happy 100. Thank you for doing these live streams. Can't believe we're at 100. Much love, all. Thanks so much, Tough Duck, and what a great sentiment to have. I completely feel like it's not this live streams got to 100 or I got to 100. We all got to 100 together. So many of you have been here for so long, and it's just been amazing. And then we got another super chat from Michael Sessler. Awesome. Can't stay but wanted to reward 100. Congratulations and thanks. And thank you. Well, thank you, Michael. You've definitely been one of the ones here since the beginning, chairman of the Happy Hour subcommittee. Thank you so much for being here as well. Awesome. Very cool. So yeah, Lewis M. for his running backpack situation is looking for something insulated, really, because it gets so hot down here. Yeah, I would look for like, because like if you look up like an insulated lunch bag right now, you'll get this giant thing that can fit like, I don't know, so much food in it, and it would take up your entire running pack. So that's why I like to look at like the kids stuff, because it's smaller and it'd fit more like what a runner would pack if you were gonna run with something. You know, you're not gonna, I don't know, maybe you're planning on running with a giant salad, but something I'm assuming a little bit more dense that could fit inside a smaller package, and it's going to be a little bit more streamlined. I would look at that. Yeah, Mr. Random says the Sense Flow is supposed to be the road trail shoe, and just wondering if anyone tested it out. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carlos says the Kipchoge versus Bekele is hard for him. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Charles Ventura. Sorry, I'm just skipping down a little bit. Charles Ventura says, any recommendations for a firmer shoe for longer runs? I've been looking at the Adidas Boston Live for the grippy outsole, but not sure if it's firm or not. I wouldn't call that one super firm. So, because of the boost that's in there, and there's Light Strike and Boost, but because of that, I'd say it's softer, because I like a little bit of a softer ride. If you're looking for a firmer long distance shoe, I would look at the New Balance 890 version 8. I feel like the fuel cell that they put in there is firmer than other fuel cells, and it's closer to the Revlite, which is like kind of its heritage anyway. Foam that they use in the 890 V7. So I would look at, that's one that I feel like I would really recommend if you're looking for firmer. Or I think that for me, the Atreyu is a little bit of a firmer shoe. And so that is something that I would recommend for you to take a look at as well. Yeah. Martha says she loves her Boston 9s and 8s. Martha's a Boston fan, and she loves the Continental rubber outsole in the winter. Yeah, it's good. I was watching one of like the Tin Man videos yesterday, and they were kind of like mocking the Continental rubber, saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have such great grip because of this Continental rubber." And I'm like, I don't know I don't know that they were like mocking it, but they were kind of like playing around with the Continental part. But like the Continental rubber is legit. It's legit. Cyrus NL says, hey Kofuzi, what's been the most surprising shoe you've tested the last few months? Anything that really popped out unexpectedly? Something that pops out is the Ultra Escalante. I thought it'd be like, okay. But I ended up really, really liking that shoe. And so that one's good. And then I just saw someone on Instagram, a guy that I've run with a couple times in Chicago, and is pretty plugged into the scene over there. He was like, I don't know if he's switching completely from Nike shoes to Ultra, but he just got a pair of Ultra Escalantes, and he's like, guys, let me tell you about this toe box. It makes my feet feel really good. And I was like, oh, awesome. Really cool. So that was probably the most surprising shoe for me, just because it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And I just really like it. I really liked it. Yeah, Recycle on Wednesday talking about Bekele and Kipchoge. Fire in the belly versus well of inner peace. That's a good way to put it. I like that. T. Callion's here. He's heading out. He got caught some of the live stream. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Yeah. Where is this comment? Again, as soon as I want to read it out loud, it disappears. It's towards the bottom. Where is it? Someone's saying, oh, Ty Matt says, woohoo, $30 in the super chats so far today. I think it was $40 today because we had Jordan and then Tough Duck and then Michael Sessler, but which I think sets a record for super chats. But he says only 220 more to get some Reebok Run Fast Pros. I'll have to look at that again. Did they make a version 2 or is it still like the same version 1? I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Well, I keep seeing the Reebok shoes out there and I think it's time. Like every time I'm about to buy a Reebok shoe, I'm like, but I got so many other shoes I got to get through. But like other shoes just come to me that I don't normally justify like that. I think I just got to run in a pair. I got to do it, I think. Because I think they've been making good shoes. It's kind of like I ignored Skechers for a long time. But I ignored Skechers for a long time for a different reason. But yeah, so I think I gotta make it a priority to get a pair of those. I mean, I ran in Ultras this year, so I feel like I can make the rounds. DD says, are Pogo's recovery slides better than Hoka's? He means UFOs. Maybe that was a autocorrect. I haven't tried the Hoka ones, but I love UFOs recovery slides. I love mine. My wife loves mine. And then back in Chicago, she would always wear mine when she would go to like take out the garbage or just run an errand real quick. And I was like, well, stop wearing my flip-flops. I call them flip-flops even when they're slides because I just like saying flip-flop. But I was like, stop wearing my flip-flops. And I don't know why I got so upset about it, but I just didn't like her doing that. And so she ended up buying her own pair. I think she's on her second pair of UFOs slides too. But I think she left hers in Chicago as well. I don't have any pairs of them here. I've only got like my one pair of flippy floppies. So Jennifer Herring says, thank you, Kofuzi. You're the best and talk so brilliantly. Thanks so much, Jennifer. It's good to see you here. Luz Becerra says, Bekele has been injured so much that Elliott has almost been alone on the top. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that. Like, I can't imagine like a race where like Kipchoge is being challenged the entire time, like from beginning to end. Like, I just feel like I can't even like picture that. And then to see it like I think the biggest disappointment would be like if someone just like broke him early somehow and then like the last 20 minutes were like some dude running by himself. Like, that'd be disappointing. What I feel like everyone is expecting is that it's going to be like shoulder to shoulder the entire race. And I can't imagine that at that kind of speed, like the kinds of speeds. But I also feel like if we got the Bekele Kipchoge showdown that we all kind of wanted, it wouldn't have been a fast race. Because I think what would have happened throughout the race is so much maneuvering that there would have been gunning it and then catching up, gunning it, catching up, and there would have been so many like just moves that each one is trying to cover of the other that it would have ended up affecting the overall pace. But who cares? Because I think it would have been just like a constant yo-yo back and forth. That's what I think would have happened. I think Kipchoge would have won, but that's what I think would have happened. Chow AL says, I'm new here. Is it okay for me to ask why I always run into the lake? Yeah, because it's awesome. I like it. I just enjoy it. I mean, you ever go to a dog park when there's water? The dogs love like just stomping through the water. It's fun for them. It's the same for me. I'm just a big puppy, I guess. Stevie76 says, still debating whether to spend $195 for Intro to Litigation Technology trial presentation software for 2 CLE credits or buying new running shoes. I'd buy new running shoes. That's for sure. Because that one, yeah, I don't know that I would spend $200 on that one. That's funny. That's a webinar that I put on a while ago. I don't get that. I don't get paid that though. That none of that money comes to me if that's what you're thinking. Awesome. Goku Runner says, and I bought the Superiors. Cool. I think you made a good choice. I think you're gonna like it. All right, let's find one more, and then I got to call it for today. It's Friday. We finally got that window inside of the house. It was a bear. It took forever. And side note, I really enjoy putting up aluminum siding. I feel like in like another universe, there's a Kofuzi that is like runs a small like contractor business, and like aluminum siding is his thing. Cause I just like it. I really enjoy it. It's so much fun. Awesome. But all right, let's find one more. Yeah. Ryan Loomis says, my wife and I have the UFOs, and I bought my sister the Hokas. And the one good thing about the UFOs is that they are one-piece construction. The thong on his sister's detached after a year. Oh, interesting point. Yeah, that is interesting. I might have, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have to get like a pair. I've been thinking ever since someone asked me, like, what did I forget in Chicago? One is the measuring wheel. I didn't think I would need it out here, but I wish I had that. I'm just going to buy another one because they're not that expensive. But now I'm really wishing I had my UFOs. But maybe I'll take the opportunity to try a couple of different recovery sandals. That's a good idea. I'll do that. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the 100th of our live streams together. It's been an incredible journey. We're going to keep on going. We'll have more. I don't know how many more, but we'll keep doing it as long as we're having a good time. And then when we're not, we'll stop doing it. But for now, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow's video is going to be about heart rate, power, and pace, and how you use any of those threes or how they correlate to each other. And then we'll do the live stream. So in the meantime, hope you guys have a good Saturday long run, or if it's a recovery run or whatever it is tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.